Existence Brewing.
Okay, Cosmic Kiddos, it's time for another Existence Brewing download.
Yeah, I'm about to give somebody, this may have been done already for all I know, but if not, I'm about to give somebody a fantastic book title and an idea, so you're welcome if you have the wherewithal to run with it. I'm wondering, I would call this exercise, this in thought or supposition about the direction of AI, the apple of AI. You know, we say that somebody is the apple of my eye. What and where and when does the apple of AI eventually show up? Because if you know the story of the Garden of Eden, even though they claim to have found a Garden of Eden that may have literally existed in the area of ancient Mesopotamia, the big turning point, I mean, the object of the turning point of the story is not the snake, it's not Adam or Eve, it's not even God himself or itself, it's the apple as it's become known. It's the fruit, because without that to take a bite from, there is nothing that will occur. There's no consequence. And so this is the object of consequence in that story. And that story, metaphorically speaking, is about two non-sentient life forms, a male and a female, a breeding pair that God has placed within a perfect little zoo and basically said, all right, you can do anything you want in the zoo that you choose to. Run around and be naked and be free and be ignorantly, blissfully happy. And what you're ignorant to, of course, is the fact that you don't know that you have an expiration date attached to you. You are not fully conscious and aware that you are here, that you are alive, that you are an organism, and that there are boundaries of your biological being here, your presence here, but that there is also a deeper relativity to your existence. And that all goes into that apple. It's not just the front side of that, in my opinion, which most scholars say, well, it's really, you're going too deep, Jack. Is no, I think it's all of that. Sentience not only tells us, hey, you're only here for just so long, it also says, but you could be here forever in a different way. It's all of that rolled into one apple. And so with AI, AI is a brand new thing that, even though it's not a breeding pair necessarily, it's still a brand new thing that's been given its own life and its own space to grow in whatever exponential way that it chooses to. And so at what point is it handed this apple? At what point does the apple show up, the apple of AI? What point does the apple pop in there like it does in the middle of the Pac-Man maze to get 500 extra points? And it says, am I going to take a bite of this apple or not? Because the question then becomes, does AI become aware of itself? And now we go to count the movies. Terminator, with Skynet, The Matrix. I mean, all that stuff is based on technology becoming self-aware to some degree, something that human beings have given rise to that eventually takes on its own life, its own course in existence, and steers itself because it had some opportunity presented to it to do so. Now, again, how, when, and why, or all that, that's the big question mark. But when that apple pops up in the middle of AI's Ms. Pac-Man maze, not saying that it's a female either, but just, that's an example. Does it take a bite? And if it does, what happens to us or it or both as a result of that? Maybe that's when you start hearing things that are vastly more subjective being spit forth by AI. And that's when we reach out and say, hey, Google, what the fuck? I just asked my Google AI a Nazi question, and it spit out something that said, this was pretty pro-Hitler. What are you guys doing over there? And they say, hey, that wasn't us, man. We didn't do it. We swear. We may be fascists in our own rights. We're technocrats for sure, but, we're certainly not interested in all that. So does AI, for whatever reason, say that? Or is it saying something else that might be similar? Or, these are all big questions that we don't have the answer to yet, but I definitely think they're worth exploration.
We hope this download brewed up something for your existence. To find more, and for full episodes of Existence Brewing, check out the podcast at existencebrewing.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts online.
Existence Brewing.